Is 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
We're ready to jump into the deep end. I'm always afraid when we have a subject that's obviously over my head that I'm going to drown. So
No, it's so fascinating. I love this.
Be there for me, okay?
I love this.
Arthur Firstenberg has written a book that it's not hard to understand, but it is a subject that is kind of very profound. It's electricity. And if you think you know electricity, oh my gosh, wait till you hear about this. Arthur is a scientist, a journalist. He referred to as the Rachel Carson of the 21st century. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
And we're talking about the book, The Invisible Rainbow, A History of Electricity and Life. Arthur Firstenberg, it's an honor to have you on our show. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for waiting through all those commercials, too, by the way. Do you know, I took a walk. I went shopping the other day. And it's one of these grocery stores that doesn't have any frills, so it's got a concrete floor, sort of, kind of. Anyway, long story short, the shopping cart was giving me shocks, and it wasn't plugged into anything. It was a static electricity shocks, and I was thinking, gosh, I could really prank some people if we didn't live in the 21st century. if I lived in medieval times, and electricity has been part of our lives forever. Right, it's always been part of the world and part of the universe, but we only, harnessed it relatively recently.
That's true. We only really harnessed it for power and light. Well, for light in the mid to late 19th century, for power in the year 1889. Before that, it was used primarily in medicine for what was called electrotherapy.
Wow.
Which is practically not known anymore.
Okay, but it is there. I mean, even before we started using it for anything, it was part of nature, right?
It's part of the universe. There are two forces in the universe in physics outside of the center of an atom. And that's gravity and the electromagnetic force. And the electromagnetic force is about 39 orders of magnitude. In other words, 1,000 trillion times as strong as the gravitational force. And yet, we ignore it. We take it for granted. We pretend it's not there except for the use that we make of it, the work that it can do for us. And we pretend that it's not an environmental force, that it doesn't have any effect on nature, on the environment, on our health, and on our bodies. And it's a mistake.
Why does electricity behave differently than other things that are described in wave forms? It seems like nothing else can build up and then explode. But electricity can do that. It can build up and then pop or explode, right?
Yeah. You're talking about electric shocks.
Yeah, I mean, am I wrong? Is it a waveform?
It's a wave, yes. It's a wave in what used to be called the ether, and physicists don't talk about the ether anymore. They say it's just a wave in space. But it's what orders the universe. It's how our cells communicate with each other. It's how healing takes place. It's how growth takes place. Everybody knows about EEGs, brain waves, and electrocardiograms. Mm-hmm. It's part of us. It's who we are.
Are we still in the Stone Age as far as understanding electricity?
I think so, in many ways, yeah. We understand it to the degree that we can make use of it. But we don't understand it. The Chinese, the Japanese, the Koreans, they have a science called acupuncture. And these are meridians that run through our bodies, and those are actually electrical channels. It's a whole other science that is actually the same. but we don't think of it the same way. We call it chi, but chi is actually a form of electricity.
You point out that there are dangers to technology advancement, especially since we're on the brink of 5G technology.
Well, this is the problem, that we've been ignoring it for so long, and we pretend that it's not an environmental factor, and we pretend that it doesn't have any effect on us. And so we have learned how to broadcast it through space. And when we broadcast electricity through space as very high-frequency waves, that's called radio and television. And now we have cell phones. And we're about to go to 5G, and this means that the levels, the amounts, the number of sources of radio waves, of radio frequency radiation, has increased astronomically, and it's about to increase even more. And I have a chapter in my book about heart disease, one about cancer, one about diabetes. Those three diseases, those are the diseases of modern civilization, are primarily caused by the increase in artificial electromagnetic fields in the last century and a half.
Really?
And is that why more babies are being born with birth defects?
Probably that is a lot of it. I mean, there's also chemical pollution. What people don't understand about chemistry is also an electromagnetic force at base. But yes, when personal computers came out for the first time in the late 1970s, there were studies that showed that people who had to sit in front of computers all day at work had higher rates of defects in their babies and birth defects and abortions. And we've sort of forgotten about that, and we've gotten used to the higher rate of birth defects. But that is a factor. The emergency in this world is in my opinion, is the development of 5G, because 5G is going to escalate this to a whole other level.
Wow. Okay. I knew at the beginning this was going to go over my head at some point, and I think that's where it went over my head. So help me understand that. So that's going to be a problem that we're all contributing to. And I say all, and I don't mean all. There will be parts of the world that don't do this. I'm guessing there are some countries, some areas where people don't use any cell phones. Well,
this is the problem, because there are about 4 billion people in the world that basically don't have access to the internet yet. And there are companies right now that are gearing up to provide that, and they're gearing up to provide it from space.
Okay.
We have Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX, who has applied to the Federal Communications Commission to put up 12,000 satellites in low orbit around the Earth to cover every square inch of this Earth with basically wireless internet. So he wants to sell receiving devices to billions of people all over the planet and make this available everywhere, so that there won't be any more electrically unpolluted areas left on the planet. And this is a dire threat to all of life, because this affects not only human beings, it affects plants, it affects animals. We have plenty of studies showing the harmful effects on honeybees, on frogs, on birds.
So which is more harmful, an electric car or a gas-powered car? It seems like they might both be just as harmful.
Well, the gas-powered car is harmful to our atmosphere. The electric car is harmful to us
because of the waves it emits.
The very high electromagnetic fields in the car. Yes.
Is there a way for us to know if the electric waves that happen naturally, you always hear about the scientists that have these dish antennas aimed at distant stars, and they're hearing electromagnetic pulses coming from those stars. Is there any way to know if any part of this planet, like maybe Antarctica, is still completely free of all of the man-made electrical waves that we have?
Well, it is, except there is a radio station at Antarctica, but aside from that, we have Iridium and Globalstar already that are two satellite networks that provide satellite phone service to every square inch of the Earth, including Antarctica. You can take a satellite phone down there and it will work. The problem with radio astronomy is the signals from stars are so minuscule that the radio telescopes have to be protected, and there are very few places in the world where radio astronomy can be done anymore because the density of wireless radiation, cell phone radiation, cell tower radiation is so great they can't see the stars anymore. We have a National Radio Quiet Zone in Green Bank, West Virginia, which is for 500 square miles, something like that, around Green Bank. You're not allowed to put up a radio tower aimed in that direction. And in Green Bank itself, in a 10-mile radius, you're not allowed to use a cell phone or have Wi-Fi in your house.
Does does the electric waves, I guess radio waves are kind of the same thing, do they affect all of nature? We mentioned human beings, but is it affecting plants and animals and even water?
Water is controversial and not yet enough explored. There are some people that think that a lot of the effect that it has on biology is due to its effect on water. That is not terribly well explored. But yes, we have plenty of studies on animals. There was an experiment that was done on bees, on honeybees in India, where they exposed bees for 10 minutes to a cell phone. And after 10 minutes, they took samples of the bees' equivalent of blood. After 10 minutes, the bees were not metabolizing sugars, proteins, or fats. Their metabolism came to a standstill from a single 10-minute exposure to an ordinary cell phone.
Well, that means that everyday people are self-inflicting themselves to this stress because they're texting and you know, all the time.
Well, this is correct, and this is the mechanism for why it causes diabetes, heart disease, and cancer, because if you slow down metabolism, then you can't properly metabolize sugars, and that eventually causes diabetes. You cannot properly metabolize fats, which get deposited in your arteries, and you get heart disease. And you're essentially oxygen-starved because you're not burning your food efficiently anymore. And cancer thrives in an oxygen-poor environment. You have anaerobic metabolism.
Is our diseases that we think have been eradicated or almost eradicated starting to make a comeback because of this, like polio?
Polio I have not studied, and I am not sure that is part of this.
Oh, okay.
There is a microorganism that causes polio.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. The book is so interesting, and I'll be honest with you, it's over my head. It's called The Invisible Rainbow, A History of Electricity and Life. It's written by our guest, Arthur Firstenberg. Arthur, you have dedicated so much of your life to this study. Is there a conclusion that is hopeful? Is there a way to perhaps, without changing our lifestyles, or maybe there is, but maybe instead of the word change, maybe amend our lifestyles, that we can maybe undo some of the damage we've done?
Yes, there are ways to undo the damage. There are engineering solutions to the distribution of electricity. In other words, what you want to do is distribute electricity without emitting electromagnetic radiation into the environment. And you can do that, but you cannot do that with wireless technology. As long as you're sending electricity through wires, the radiation is unintentional, and it can be eliminated with engineering solutions. When you broadcast it intentionally through the air to reach somebody's cell phone, that's deliberate. The reception in the cell phone depends on the existence of the artificial radiation.
Okay, so that would apply to radios too, like what we're talking on right now.
Correct, except that you can have radio and TV broadcasting from relatively few antennas located distant from populations. What they want to do with 5G is that will require basically a small cell tower in the form of antennas on top of light poles and traffic lights and utility poles. They want to put a little cell tower in every block in every city in the world.
Oh, I know. We had a discussion about that. Let me ask you about this. Fiber optics, are they less likely to cause problem than normal wires or cables?
They are. They do not much radiate. I mean, it works at light frequencies, so you don't have. It's very much higher frequencies, and it doesn't radiate very far, and it's confined to the cable. So yes, it's much safer. The problem is that in order to give us 5G, the telecommunications companies are laying fiber all over the world, and they're spending They're spending $150 billion laying fiber all over the world because it's the only way that they can have fast enough speeds to make 5G work. It has to go through the fiber, and then they stick an antenna into the fiber.
Are people like that are in the Navy, are they more susceptible to getting an illness when they are assigned to submarine duty? Because they're contained.
Probably, but I have not studied that.
Okay. You have studied a lot. The book is huge, and about 1/3 of the book is your bibliography and your notes. I mean, the amount of work you put into this book is really amazing. Can you help me understand some of the photographs in the book? There's one photograph, I think here it is right here. It's in Spain, and it looks like some hedges, and part of the hedge is dead. What's going on in that picture?
That is a traffic radar. That is on a street, I believe. Where was it in? Was it in
Valladolid, Spain.
It was in Valladolid, Spain. Yes. And I have a colleague, Alfonso Balmori, in Spain, who has been studying for a couple of decades the effects of electromagnetic radiation on plants and wildlife and frogs and birds and stuff. And he took this picture and sent it to me. It's a photograph of a little traffic radar on a street in Valladolid, and you can see at the edge of the road where this bush is growing.
Oh, wow. It's dead.
Half of the bush that's in the beam of the radar is dead, and the other half is vibrant.
Wow, that is crazy. I'm going to see. We have a couple of those here in our town. I'm going to go look at the hedges, see if I can see anything.
Are there any outward signs of the wildlife? I know you said you had studied the bees, but the other wildlife, like bears, things like that, or whales, are there any outward signs that they're really bothered?
Well, the whales are protected from radio waves because they're underneath the water, and the water is a complete shield against it. So what's bothering the whales is sonar, and Navy sonar that's used all over the world. But that's a whole other kettle of fish. But yes, the Balmori himself, he studied frogs and concluded that this is contributing to the die-off of amphibians all over the world. It's been he's documented the effect on, he and others have documented the effect on birds. Affects termites, affects ants. There are reports that this is contributing to aggressiveness in wild animals in various places.
Really?
Gosh.
Is there an antidote that we can maybe use until the world figures out what to do for the world? Is there a way that we can protect ourselves in our little world? Like, I don't know, drive with a lead car or something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, no, the basic problem is your cell phone and the wireless technology that we use. And this is affecting everybody's health. And
really,
it's the reason that so many people have to take sleeping medications and anti-anxiety meds and antidepressants. It's the reason for the increase in neurological diseases.
Does it matter? Like if I have my cell phone turned off, is it still picking up signals?
It's still active to a degree. If you want to be totally unirradiated, you have to take the battery out of it.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yes.
You said that your medical career was cut short because of an X-ray overdose. How did that happen?
It was unrelated to medical school, actually. I had a very large number of dental X-rays in a short amount of time.
Oh my gosh! Oh my! And the dentist didn't realize that?
Either it was just too many X-rays, or his machine malfunctioned, and I don't know which.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Do you think it has anything to do with the increase in dementia or Alzheimer's?
Yes.
In the book you had something about Pete Seeger expressing something.
I knew Pete Seeger. I used to go to the Beacon Flute Club to commune with his group and sing folk songs with him after, and he had me present to his group a few times. So he knew of my work, and I used to communicate with him by mail.
Do you think it contributes to Alzheimer's or dementia of some sort? The electric radio waves, or whatever we've got going on out there?
Well, we know that it does. We have studies that show that too. Leif Salford in Sweden did studies on rats for 20 years, and he exposed them to a cell phone and once for 2 hours, and then 50 days later he sacrificed them and looked at their brains, and he saw that up to 2% of their brain cells were dark and shrunken. This is after a single exposure to cell phones. And he started giving interviews worrying about the effects about the onset of early Alzheimer's disease in young people.
Wow.
Well, God truly opened a door when he gave you that accidental X-ray overdose, because we wouldn't know anything about this and we wouldn't be as cautious as we're starting to be now.
Well, what I tell people, if they want to really protect their health, to get rid of their cell phone. But the real emergency is this 5G. That we should not be embracing it. It must be stopped, or I fear for the future of our planet.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that with us. I went to Amazon. I found the book. I don't see a picture of the book on the Amazon site, though.
It's only for sale on my organization's website.
What is that?
Which is cellphonetaskforce.org.
Oh, okay. Cellphonetaskforce.org. Okay, I did find the cover of the book, though, so I did have it on during the course of this interview. Oh, there it is. Okay.
You need to blame Benjamin Franklin.
Cellphonetaskforce.org. So I guess bottom line is the solution to have landlines and just forget about all this.
That is the solution. Yes. If we want to have a future on this world, we've got to give up wireless technology and go back to landlines.
Wow. Well, I'm all for that. I always think landlines sound better.
Yeah, I have one, by the way.
They always sound better. They always sound better. Thank you for being on the air with us, Arthur. This is so fascinating, and I'm totally honest with you. I grasped enough of it to understand the urgency, but much of the science is over my head. Thank you for sharing this with us, Arthur.
Thanks for having me, Larry.
You're welcome. We'll be right back.
Life South encourages you to share the love this winter by sharing life through blood donation. The winter season is always a difficult time to collect enough blood to keep local hospitals stocked. So embrace the giving spirit and give the greatest gift of all this year. Give life. Your blood donation could help save as many as 3 patients at your local hospitals. Visit lifesouth.org for more information and locations. Share the love. Share life. Give blood.
The NFL Alumni is sponsoring a Clays for Kids, a sporting event to benefit the Marion County Champions for Champions. The event will take place at the Robinson Ranch in Ingles, Florida
on Saturday, April 7th.
Call 427-0950 for detailed information. The NFL Alumni will provide gift bags, breakfast, lunch, prizes, and drawings throughout the day. Call 427-0950 for detailed information on the Clay for Kids sporting event hosted by the NFL Alumni.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. We are located in the heart of downtown Ocala, right next to the historic Marion Theater. I'd like to invite you to stop by and see our new boutique area and meet our staff of professional stylists. Here at Hello Gorgeous, we are ready to update your look with the latest trends. And with summer here, it's the perfect time to brighten up your look. So make your appointment now for those highlights and Brazilian blowout. But don't stop there. We are a full-service salon offering manicures, pedicures, and facials also. So if you've been searching for a salon to call your own, come and see us at Hello Gorgeous Salon. We are located at 48 South Magnolia Avenue in downtown Ocala, right next to the Marion Theater. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon at 351-5358. That's 351-5358. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too. 351-5358.
Hello, gorgeous.
The sound of the bat cracking, the crowd cheering, the smell of overpriced but tasty hot dogs, the memories that will last a lifetime of your first baseball game with little Johnny. Your team wins. It was a great night until you get home. It's 9 p.m. and your wife says you have no water.
We have no water.
What do you do?
What do you do?
Rule number 1, don't panic. Remain calm. Okay, that's 2 rules.
We don't have time for jokes, funny man.
Okay, think back. On the way home, you heard a radio commercial.
Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
Eureka. You saved the day. You remembered that Mike Scott Plumbing doesn't charge extra for nights, weekends, or holidays. You are a genius.
Hey, Mr. Genius, did you remember the phone number?
Of course you did. Remember, you're a genius. 352-237-2888. Because at Mike Scott Plumbing, if water runs through it, we do it. Even if water's not running through it at this particular moment. Mike Scott Plumbing.
Here are today's headlines from The Source. WOCA closing arguments are scheduled for this morning in federal court in Orlando in the trial of the widow of the Pulse nightclub gunman. The defense rested without calling Noor Salman to the stand. Family spokeswoman Susan Clary says they trust the judgment of their defense team.
She believes that there is not only reasonable doubt, but factual evidence that she's innocent, and so that wasn't necessary for her to testify.
The last witness on the stand was a forensic psychologist who testified Noor Salman's personality would make her vulnerable to giving a false confession. Her statements to the FBI are central to the prosecution's case that she helped her husband plan the attack. The government plans to take 3 hours for its closing arguments. The defense says it will need 90 minutes. The jury could begin deliberating Salman's fate this afternoon. Florida's first responders will now be provided both medical and paid leave under workers' compensation if diagnosed for post-traumatic stress disorder under a bill signed into law by Governor Rick Scott.
If we expect people to take care of us, they'll never know us, not meet us most likely. We should be doing the same thing for them.
First responders must meet at least one of 11 conditions, which include witnessing a homicide or seeing a dead child. Until now, workers' comp benefits only covered physical injuries for the state's first responders. A federal judge is ordering Governor Scott to come up with a new system by April 26 for restoring felons' voting rights. Florida's current process requires the governor to intervene to overturn a decision to strip convicted felons of their voting rights. Scott and his cabinet now have to dismantle that system and create one that uses neutral criteria to determine vote restoration decisions. In a statement, Governor Scott says he's reviewing the court's ruling and he believes people who have been convicted of felony offenses, including crimes like murder, violence against children, and domestic violence, should be able to demonstrate that they can live a life free of crime while being accountable to our communities. Polk County deputies say a 13-year-old boy found passed out drunk on a sidewalk in Davenport had threatened to become the next school shooter. Sheriff Grady Judd says after the boy was Baker acted, he told them some disturbing things.
We're talking to him, and he is saying stuff like, I want to die and see God. I want to shoot up the West Side K through 8 school in Osceola County. He said he wanted to be the next school shooter.
After searching the boy's PlayStation, deputies say they found images of the Parkland shooter and a picture of Columbine High School. Judd said this is the kind of kid, if they don't take him seriously and he carries out his threats, people would ask, quote, how many more signs did we need, unquote. The Public Service Commission this week approved a proposal by Gulf Power to reduce customers' bills by an average of $14 a month. The lower bills will take effect next month as the company says it is passing on more than $100 million in tax savings. PSC Chairman Art Graham says the decision will have an immediate impact. An internet cafe employee was robbed yesterday evening by a gunman in Summerfield who escaped with an undetermined amount of cash. Sheriff's deputies say that shortly after 9:30 p.m., a man entered Sweet Royal Internet Cafe on South US 441 and asked the cashier for change. When the cashier opened the cash register, the man pulled out a handgun and demanded money. After receiving the cash, he left the building. Authorities say no one was hurt during the holdup and that no customers were in the cafe during the robbery. Deputies described the suspect as a black male with a tattoo on his neck, short hair, baggy jeans, and a sweatshirt. No height or weight was given. Anyone with information can call the Marion County Sheriff's Office at 732-9111, Crime Stoppers at 368-STOP, or go to ocalacrimestoppers.com. Lake County commissioners voted yesterday to let residents decide on a fuel tax. In a 3-2 vote, commissioners voted to add the question to the November ballot. If the ordinance passes, an additional 5 cents will be added to every gallon of gas pumped in Lake County. That money will then be used for transportation. Commissioner Sean Park says he does not think there's been enough public discussion about it. He's one of the 2 commissioners who voted against it. If approved, the fuel tax would go into effect in the year 2020 and last for 10 years. Efforts are underway to ease Florida's Space Coast launch congestion. The good news for Florida's Space Coast is that the launch industry is booming there once again. The bad news is that this launch boom is creating some headaches for the companies involved as well as for NASA and the U.S. Air Force. The projected increase in launches in the coming years from SpaceX and Blue Origin, as well as United Launch Alliance, Orbital ATK, and others, is putting a strain on the infrastructure at the Cape. It has already led to conflicts about scheduling launches, so the Air Force's 45th Space Wing, which operates Cape Canaveral Air Force Station and the Eastern Range, has been working to address that surge in launch demand. Those efforts fall under a strategy dubbed Drive for 48 for the ability to support 48 launches per year, an average of 1 a week with a 2-week maintenance period within 5 years. The Big Bend Bomb Squad has taken a break from their usual duties to build some very special Easter eggs. Todd Okray with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms in Tallahassee says they are being rigged for sound.
This is going to be our end product. It's going to have an outside switch, so when we turn it on, we have the beeping noise. There's some simple wiring with some soldering and a battery component with a beeper.
The eggs are designed for blind children who are left out of the traditional Easter egg hunts. Children without vision problems are also welcome, but they'll have to wear blindfolds. Okray says they started this 12 years ago because one of the bomb techs has a daughter who is visually impaired, and he didn't want her to miss out on the fun of an Easter egg hunt.
Way to partner with our local and state agencies and just for a goodwill for the community and to give back and kind of take a break from dealing with criminal investigations and build something that's worthwhile.
And those are the headlines from The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Wednesday, a gorgeous day with sunshine. High 76 the coast, but 83 inland. Partly cloudy Wednesday night, low 56 inland, 65 along the coast. Thursday, sunny and warm. High 81 at the coast, 87 inland. For Good Friday, some sunshine followed by increasing clouds with an afternoon shower in places. High 83 at the coast, 89 well inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Ocala Business Leaders Incorporated is a group of independent local firms providing a wide range of quality goods and services. Each firm strives to maintain the highest level of professional integrity and 100% customer satisfaction. When you're looking for goods and services, call a member of the Ocala Business Leaders, and we are confident you will be pleased with the results. If you are interested in becoming a member of the Ocala Business Leaders, join us at the Ocala Elks Lodge, 25th Avenue in Ocala, any Wednesday at 7 a.m. and enjoy a breakfast on us. For more information, check OcalaBusinessLeaders.com.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. Peanut exports continue to be a major income item for peanut farmers. The Foreign Agricultural Service of USDA has announced the 6 months figures through January. We're showing now that the total exports are down only 7%, 7.4% for the year. We'd expected it to be down around 15%. The best shining star for exports is peanut butter. Peanut butter is up 11.8%. Top buyer Canada, followed by Germany. Nigeria has jumped up to number 3. Japan is number 4 and Mexico number 5. But overall, up 12% and up 6.5% for January. The largest category is raw shell peanuts. They're down 6.8% for the year, but we're up 11% during the month of January. Canada's the number 1 buyer of raw shell peanuts, followed by Mexico, the Netherlands, and the UK and Germany. On end-shells are down 15% from last year, but China's back in the market, and that may change quickly. China is the number 1 buyer of end-shell peanuts, followed by Germany, Canada, and Trinidad and Tobago, and Spain is number 5. They're now down about 15.4%. With Argentina having trouble right now, there could be an opening for more exports next year into the European Union.
Saturday, April 7th is Steer a Deer Demo Day at AgPro. Test drive the John Deere of your dreams. We've got over 20 compact models to demo. Put them through their paces. Pick your favorite. Get special low financing and be equipped for anything. Join us next Saturday at Steer a Deer Demo Day. Find your nearest location at agproco.com/demo day.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
You know how frogs are so hoppy? It's because they don't smoke or have COPD, otherwise they would be flip-floppy. If you want to quit smoking to prevent yourself from croaking, come to A Better You for a good acupuncture poking. Call me, Dr. Erica Olstein, with A Better You Healthcare to stop smoking today at 352-615-5566. 352-615-5566.
Hi, I'm Russ Moore with Pike Mill. Our relationship with WOCA started in 2009. WOCA is a family-friendly, community-involved station. When we moved to our new location on 17th Street in October of 2016, of course, we went to WOCA so they could tell everybody our new location. The folks at WOCA really care about their clients and want them to be successful. For all of your shipping needs, call Pike Mill, and to tell the Ocala area about your business, call WOCA, because WOCA radio gets results.
Some crafty ideas for putting up a barrier or fence around the garden. That's coming up on This Land of Ours.
Okay, kids, let's sing Old MacDonald.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on his farm he had a
wetland,
native plants, wildlife habitat, windbreaks, contours.
Conservation is growing some wonderful things on America's farms and ranches. But it has put a new wrinkle in an old song. Conservation, there's something in it for you. Brought to you by the Natural Resources Conservation Service.
You're going to need me.
You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food.
You're going to need our determination, our compassion.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring.
And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Today, 4-H is growing the next generation of leaders. Support us at 4h.org.
If looking for some do-it-yourself ideas for a fence or barrier in your garden, how about a wine bottle fence? Even if you don't drink wine, ask friends or relatives to save wine bottles for you. Drill a hole in the center of the bottom of the bottle and thread dowel rods throughout the bottles. The dowel rods can then be connected to a top and bottom rail. The resulting fence will be colorful and play nicely with the light. For fences with solid sides, you could grab some paint and a brush and create gigantic flowers, painting some stems and leaves, or use repurposed